So, I haven't made a proper vlog here in a really long time, so I may be a little rusty at this. Sorry. I often think about how heavily money factors into my life decisions, and it kind of bums me out, to be honest. I spent so many years raised on this belief that life has to progress in this order. Finish school, get job, make bank, find husband, make family, and then happiness. Which, it turns out, is not a path that fits perfectly for everyone. The first job I remember wanting was that of a teacher, which I think is a pretty common answer for 8-year-old girls. My mom said, "Don't you want to be a nurse like me?" And I said, "Ew, no, I don't want to deal with blood." And she was all, "Yeah, but you make good money as a nurse." But that wasn't something that I really cared about. When I was 12, I wanted to be a psychologist, and I held on to that goal all the way through undergrad. My family was more pleased about this decision, but they did often ask, "Why don't you want to be a psychiatrist? They can prescribe meds, which means you can make more money." And I'd say, "I don't want to prescribe meds, and I don't care about making more money." But I did care. A little. Well, I cared about having a respectable job, which some family members might interpret as well-paying. After undergrad, I got one of those respectable, well-paying jobs. It was enough to satisfy the pesky family questions at Thanksgiving, and it was enough to satisfy the bills and student loans that I had to pay back. But I wanted something more. Something that was more me. Which is why last year, I went back to school and started studying video production. And although the last 12 months have been the most challenging to date, I believe that the payoff will be worth it. Of course, jobs in the creative field still carry the stigma of being unstable, and often bring to mind the image of a poor, starving artist. Admittedly, that's why I didn't study something like film in undergrad. How many female filmmakers make it to Hollywood? And how many of them are guaranteed a long-lasting career? Anyway, the reason I bring this up is because I was thinking about the question, what do you want to do for a living? And how I kind of hate that question. Not because it can put people in uncomfortable positions, but that kind of question expects a certain kind of answer. You'll hear answers like, "I want to be a doctor," or "I want to be a filmmaker," or "I want to be an accountant." I'm not actually sure how many people say that, but anyway. All these answers are structured as, "I want to be X profession," which I think is a really limiting answer. By saying I want to be X, it's too easy to put people into boxes. Boxes like, Jonathan wants to be a doctor, so he'll be making bank at the hospital. Or Taylor wants to be a filmmaker, so she'll be making bank in Hollywood. Or Thomas wants to be an accountant, so he'll be making bank, presumably at the bank. By saying I want to be X, you don't really give a full picture of what it is you do, what you like about what you do, and what drives you to do what you do. The question is, what do you want to do for a living? And yet, people expect an answer for what you want to be. In my opinion, those answers are boring. I don't want to know what you want to be. I want to know what you want to do with your time. And that brings up the other reason I don't like the question, what do you want to do for a living? The for a living part, specifically. For a living means for money. Money that you can live off comfortably. I feel like that phrasing forces you to think, well, what can I do for money? And that kind of thinking can, again, limit the kind of answer you give. I think it's much more interesting to think about what you would do with your time. Not because it'll be enough to pay the bills, but because it's how you want to spend your day. So I ask you, if money wasn't an issue, what would you do with your time? I've thought long and hard about this question, and I've come to the realization that I want to travel. A lot. And from those trips, I want to create content that I'm passionate about. Travel opens me up to invaluable experiences that I can't just get from reading about online. I get to expand my understanding of the world by trying new things and having conversations with people I would have never met otherwise. By engaging in a different culture, I get inspired to create things that will apply the lessons that I've learned from my travels. Anyway, that's what I would do if money wasn't an issue. But I want to know, what would you do with your time? If you'd like, you can leave a comment down below. If you want to make a video response, that would be freaking fantastic, and I would watch the heck out of it. And if you want to chat more about this stuff, here are some more places you can talk to me. I will link them down below. As always, thank you for watching. I'll be back on here in a couple weeks. In the meantime, I'll be hanging out in comments. Whoa, man, I haven't done that in a long time. Throat's a little sore. Do you know that vlogging makes your throat sore?